My name's Norma Turner. I'm a retired nurse. I worked in the health service for 44 years. I was an active socialist and trade unionist, and I've worked with young children and people who are dying. I've worked in India and Africa and spent some time in Palestine, both Gaza and the West Bank, working with nurses.
My name's Sandy Broadhurst. I live in Stockport. I'm an ex-teacher. I've taught the whole of my life throughout the age range. I've been an active trade unionist in the NUT, and I was a councillor in Stockport for 12 years, where I was involved with the Equal Opportunities Committee. I'm currently involved in human rights.
My name's Pia Feig. I've lived in Manchester for over 35 years, and I've worked in Manchester for 30 years in the NHS. I come from a Jewish background, and I think that makes me particularly responsible for taking protest action against the Israeli government's behaviour towards Palestinians. I'm an active trade unionist, been an active trade unionist for many years, soon to retire, but soon to carry on the fight for human rights and trade union rights all over the world.
Be on a plane travelling to Palestine via Tel Aviv. I'm going to Palestine to carry out a variety of humanitarian activities associated with human rights abuses perpetrated on the Palestinian people by the Israeli government. The Palestinians are subjected to these abuses on a day-to-day basis. In the past, when people have gone to Palestine to carry out such activities, they've actually been prevented from travelling into the West Bank at the Israeli border. This is quite outrageous and unacceptable. The Palestinian people are ghettoised within the West Bank by the apartheid wall, by all the checkpoints, by their restrictions on travel, and they're ghettoised outside the West Bank by not being allowed to have international visitors to come and visit them in their own country. As a lifelong peace activist, I'm protesting against this gross abuse of human rights.
I'm travelling with 1,500 international peace activists going on a peaceful direct action to Tel Aviv to demand the right of Palestinians to receive visitors. I'm going because when I've been in Palestine and looking at the health system there, I've been able to see that the Palestinians have no access to health care. They have worse conditions in Gaza. They can't get medication and equipment because of the siege, and in Palestine they have to go through checkpoints, the wall and so on to get access. They also can't get access to education to train for these jobs. So that puts a big barrier. But nevertheless, Palestinians manage with their resilience to overcome this. And then when they are trained, they can't get visitors there to help them get their skills better. They can't come out to conferences and so on. So this is part of a total siege that the Palestinians are under. And at least by starting to ensure that they can have access so that I can go and share my skills with other people within Palestine and they can freely visit to come out here is a start, and that's why I'm going.
Right, on the 15th of April, so very soon, we're going to take a flight from Manchester to Tel Aviv airport. On the way, we hope to reach Ramallah in the Palestinian occupied areas in the West Bank of the Jordan. And we're taking those flights to hopefully open up a communication between the Palestinian people and their supporters all over the world. At the moment, there are no direct flights into the occupied Palestinian areas. You have to go via the Israeli airport, Tel Aviv, and the Israeli state stops people who they think are supporting the Palestinian people from going to meet the supporters. So we're trying to take that long tradition of peaceful, direct action by taking a flight to Tel Aviv on the way to Ramallah to make our point that we want to have direct communication with the Palestinian people in that way.
What I hope to achieve by this action is that I have easy access to the Palestinian people and they have easy access to me. I want to focus the international community on the plight of the Palestinians, and we all watch the way that they're being suffering, where all their human rights are just disregarded. There's ethnic cleansing going on in Palestine and we're all watching. And so I think it's really necessary that we take some direct peaceful action. And this may just be a pebble that creates a little ripple, but we've all seen our actions can lead to bigger things. We've seen how just a small action led to the Arab Spring. We've seen even here the Bradford Spring where George Galloway's got elected. So everything that we can do to bring attention to the plight of the Palestinians is important, and I think it's really necessary that we all put ourselves on the line, even if that means imprisonment by the Israelis.
If we get into the West Bank, we have an amazing programme of activities arranged, activities linked in to righting some of the human rights abuses. Children find it very hard to access education, a subject as an ex-teacher I'm very interested in, and we're going to help to build a school. We're also, the Israelis steal Palestinian water and then sell it back to them. And one of our activities will be involved in reinstating damaged water systems. The Israelis also rewrite history. And one of our activities is going to be to do with community arts, where we help to tell what really happened in 1948 at the Nakba, which was the start of the ethnic cleansing of Palestine, which still goes on today. So if we get in wonderful activities, in the event of not getting in, and I might be deported or even put in prison, which has happened to people before, my activity in going still has a purpose, because it highlights the gross human right of keeping the people of the West Bank in this siege situation, yet another of the dreadful human rights abuses against them. And if the world's already behind Palestine, but we have to push things to make people not only know what's happening, but to do something about it, so that we can free the Palestinians.
What I hope we'll achieve is that we will normalise relationships between the Palestinian people who are ghettoised into the occupied areas, normalise their relationship with the supporters all over the world who do exist. In fact, I'm one of 1,500 people who are trying to get in to the West Bank via the Tel Aviv airport, and I've told loads of my friends about what I'm doing. I've told my trade union, my local branch, and they're all really in support of what we're doing, and they are being made more aware of what restrictions are on Palestinians in terms of their communicating with the outside world, and of outside foreigners coming and showing their support to the Palestinian people. If we get through, we will open up a passageway between people from the outside world, supporters of the Palestinians and of the Palestinian cause, that passageway through from the outside world to the Palestinian people, and that's what I hope we'll achieve. If we don't get through, then either we will be stopped by the international airlines who will be doing the Israeli government's work for them in policing their illegal borders. Either we'll be stopped in Britain, or we'll be put in prison when we get to Tel Aviv on completely spurious grounds that we're a security threat to the Israeli state, as people have been put in prison before, illegally detained for up to 5 days and then forcibly shipped out or flown out back to Britain. And the restrictions on Palestinian people communicating with the outside world will remain. If we're successful, hopefully those barriers will be brought down. Okay?